anarchy.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
I had to verify it. I had to go back and look. Trump says we're going to beat the fucking shit out of Iran. That is an exact quote. Direct quotations. We're going to beat the fucking shit out of Iran. I repeat, we're going to beat the fucking shit out of Iran. That's one of our top stories tonight. I got all kinds of shit for you tonight. I got mutant rats. I got a dog meeting a bear. I got a rattlesnake dancing. I think it's 2 rattlesnakes dancing. John Oliver is taking on Buc-ee's. Crazy shit went on in the Fauci testimony in front of Congress earlier today. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche may not get confirmed. John Cornyn canceling his meeting with Todd Blanche, signaling he is not ready to vote for Blanche. It's day 2 in the Lindsay Clancy trial. If you don't know who she is, she strangled her 3 kids to death and then jumped out a window, paralyzed herself. She's now facing a murder charge. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think she should be facing murder. I don't think. I possibly needs to be locked up in some sort of hospital the rest of her life. I don't know. Probably should be under psychiatric care of some sorts. Maybe you shouldn't be in the general population of people. I don't know. That's not my job, you know? I think we're too harsh. I think there is something to... She was apparently prescribed multiple medications that you should not take. I was naming them off to Curiouser, and Curiouser's like... Because I was like, she didn't take all of these. She only took a couple of them some of the time. Like, she was never on one of them specifically, I don't even think, at one time. Like, it was a mix and match thing. I think she was going to different psychiatrists. And she's like, well, you couldn't take all of those. It would kill you. So I don't know. The system failed her. The system should have recognized. We shouldn't be in a position where we're forced, because one, she was a labor nurse. She dealt with babies every fucking day of her life and was probably way overworked for and underpaid. Gender fluid, welcome in. Don't mind if I do. My lord. Warlord, okay. So I know I asked you, like, should I buy this collection? You're like, okay, yes, this collection. But I saw there's a different version of Persona 3, and you actually get to move around and shit. And, like, I would have rather done that than the pocket version. Can we play Persona 4 instead of Persona 3? I know it was in a collection. Is that why you told me to get it? And I see that the remake is still pretty expensive, so I probably came out better with the collection. But I would like to move on to Persona 4 if we continue. Thread, good evening. I had an interview Count Benface did on the local news, the British local news. I really wanted to play it, but news just be doing crazy shit. We ain't got time for nothing. I'm gonna try to make this a short news night and do something fun with people on Twitch. So let's get to it. Let's try to get through all this fucking shit. We're gonna start off with Iran, where Trump said, "I don't know that I have this quote. This quote that I'm getting ready to read to you is probably from Truth Social, if I had to guess. I don't know that." We're going to go to Major Garrett here, I think. No, it's not Major Garrett. I'm sorry. It is CBS News. But I don't know that this quote is going to be included. We're going to beat the fucking shit out of Iran. I believe that was from a Truth Social post Trump made.
President Trump is out with a new threat today, this time with a lot of profanity. Here's what he told Fox News this morning as part of his latest threat against Iran. That message, a direct response to this.
So apparently he said it on Fox News.
Those are the missiles Iran state television says were used in a surprise attack on U.S. forces yesterday. The U.S. and Jordan say all the missiles were blocked, but President Trump says the U.S. response...
I thought they didn't have any missiles.
Go live to outside the White House, the CBS News reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, tough words from the president. Are we any closer to diplomacy at this point?
Liz, it doesn't seem like it, in part because of the president's tough words, as you mentioned, as well as what we're seeing and hearing from Iranian officials who have said they have not spoken directly to the U.S. in the last 15 days, despite President Trump's insistence that he believes Iran.
So apparently he said it on Fox and Friends this morning.
President Trump speaking to Fox just moments ago about the U.S.-Iran conflict. Trey Ying says the information. Trey, what did the president tell you?
Yeah, guys, good morning. President Trump reacting to that Iranian attack on U.S. forces overnight in Jordan. President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, "We are going to beat the effing S out of them." He went on to say, "We'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating." So clearly the United States is going to respond to what the president...
I was hoping he said it on the phone to him.
He says U.S. forces had just minutes to shoot down these incoming Iranian ballistic
I'm
missiles.
let down.
The president says he has reviewed video of the shoot down, and it was U.S. forces conducting this operation to defend that area. He said it was real time. They were calling out coordinates and ensuring that none of this incoming Iranian fire got through.
President Trump speaking to Fox just moments ago about the U.S.
Now, in the piece I just showed you, they mentioned that none of the missiles got through. This is Muwafq Salti Air Base in Jordan. This is apparently soldiers taking cover during a missile barrage. As I understand it, the soldier who filmed this has been reprimanded, that they have sent out a memo not to film, as it gives away the location and helps the enemy.
Good. Come on. Soon.
It's kind of haunting. Apparently soldiers taking cover on a base during an Iranian missile barrage that Trump was responding to.
Iran desperately wants to make a deal, and in the indirect conversations that they are having with Iran, with Oman, they recently rejected a proposal from them to demine the underwater mines that have been in the Strait of Hormuz and have made that waterway very dangerous. And in the progress that they have made with Oman, it seems that they're jointly talking about fees when it comes to ships transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, which has been a red line for this White House and the administration. Throughout the appearance in the Oval Office earlier this afternoon, you also did not hear President Trump talk much about negotiations, and instead talk about upcoming
Little pat on the head
on Iran from the U.S. He said, quote, I
know he's giving them the Iggy.
Asked about if
he's telling them when to go.
Iran strikes enough U.S. military.
The pat on the head's funny.
The U.S. to pull out of this war. The president said essentially that'll never happen. Take a listen to his answer.
Under what scenario do you see Iran attacking U.S. installations and personnel overseas and you withdrawing? Or
I don't see that. No, we're not. No, we're gonna hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because in that there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with.
They're doing. Do you
They've
understand
already
that?
apologized, but we got to smack them a little bit.
Mr. President, you want me to hit back when they strike?
Will I always hit back?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Mr. President, just on a point of clarity on that, sir, is that in response to the attempted ballistic missile strike on Jordan last night? When you say it's our turn to hit back?
I think more so that, because it was another smaller event. But no, they sent 8,000 mile-an-hour missiles at us. And fortunately, we had our people operating the greatest equipment in the world.
And another thing that could make any path to diplomacy difficult is just the fact that this war is expanding throughout the region. Saudi Arabia joined in the U.S. attacks on Iran-backed military forces in Iraq. Jordan's military said this week that they had to intercept 5 missiles coming from Iran. The Houthis, based out of Yemen, hit Saudi-flagged tankers in the Red Sea as they're trying to use that as an alternate route to the Strait of Hormuz. So
this is going to spiral out of control.
That make diplomacy in the U.S.-Iran war seem unlikely.
And Aaron, the president is adding a new renovation project to his list in D.C.
A new renovation project.
This is a $22.5 billion renovation of the Dulles Airport here in Washington, D.C. He really wants to renovate so many things about it. Replace 2 concourses, creates a U-shaped train system, and replace what are known as the, quote, people movers that take people from terminal to terminal. And he said that it would be funded, both he as well as the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, that it would be funded with no federal dollars. It will be funded.
And what kind of scam is he running?
By airport revenue through the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, which gets the revenue from rental fees as well as runway fees used by airlines. The president also said that United Airlines will be a big partner in all of this, and that the main terminal made by Eero Saarinen, the Finnish architect, will remain.
There's something that he is getting out of this.
Will not impact the runway or flights coming in and out of that airport. But as you mentioned, this is the latest renovation project from President.
That was the announcement that he made. We're going to watch several clips that have nothing to do with that. I didn't select anything that had to do with that. But that was the announcement that he was making from the White House today, where we're going to see clips of reporters asking him questions on different subjects throughout the show. Sports cards, soup, me and you. Terrible times over on the YouTube. Welcome in, my friends. It is good to see everybody. Senator John Cornyn canceled his meeting with Todd Blanche, saying he is not ready to vote for Blanche. This could actually kill Blanche's nomination. We may not see him confirmed as Attorney General, possibly. Todd Blanche, of course, Trump's personal attorney, now acting Attorney General.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination may be on thin ice. Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn cancelled a planned meeting with Blanche today over demands that the DOJ revise its controversial settlement agreement over the $1.8 billion weaponization fund. Cornyn wants written proof the fund is truly dead and wouldn't meet Blanche without it. Now the meeting is off and Blanche's confirmation vote tomorrow in the Senate is in real jeopardy. So let's bring in our Washington, D.C. managing editor, Catherine Fulders. Catherine, it seems pretty straightforward. The DOJ needs to give Cornyn proof the weaponization fund is dead, so why won't they?
Yeah, so we're told by sources that they actually have given
because it ain't dead
paperwork prior to the meeting this morning that then Cornyn canceled. That paperwork hasn't been released publicly. It's not clear what they said to Cornyn. Cornyn wants paperwork that the fund is dead. I'm told that DOJ did provide some sort of paperwork to say that, but Cornyn is saying, without revealing entirely,
obviously wasn't satisfied,
that it didn't meet his demands and didn't reflect what he's asking for. Now, it's unclear what the disconnect is here. The two sides are talking to each other, but Cornyn is still refusing to meet with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. So there's some piece of the puzzle missing here. He won't say what exactly it is, other than that it doesn't meet his demands, and he really has only given them until late afternoon to provide an answer. And if they don't, then that key vote out of the committee won't move forward tomorrow. So we'll see.
So do you think that nomination tomorrow is actually in real trouble?
We'll have to see. Cornyn basically is telegraphing that it is in.
He just said he won't vote for him.
He will tell Grassley, the chair of that committee, presumably how he intends to vote. So if the vote is still on, and even if we don't have an answer from Cornyn behind the scenes, that would be an indication that Cornyn is likely going to vote for him. We just don't know at this point. Grassley, if he scraps the vote altogether, then that is obviously not.
No, Cornyn said he is not going to vote for him at this time.
His full.
I was assuming they would have the soundbite
moving forward. So there's still a lot of variables, and they really don't have much time to figure this out.
Let's go to Trump from the Dulles announcement I was telling you about. He was asked about John Cornyn and I guess the cancellation of that meeting. I don't know that Trump knew that he had said he wasn't going to vote for him.
Mr. President, on Todd Blanche, Senator John Cornyn of Texas has been hesitant to back the confirmation. Seems to be some sort of deal that he's talking about. What is your reaction to his hesitancy?
Well, all I can say is Todd Blanche is outstanding, and I thought it was pretty routine because he's so good. You just wouldn't find a better person. So I don't know, maybe John Cornyn's upset with me because I didn't endorse him. I don't know what it is, but I haven't heard that there's a problem. I heard he's going through quite nicely.
And do you think Senate Majority Leader John Thur, after the comments you heard regarding Save America and some other stuff, do you think he's still the man for the job?
Well, we're going to find out, and I'll let you know.
I am muted. Oregon Gal, Bondi, anonymously. Welcome in, friends. This is a clip of Cornyn from a few hours ago saying he would refuse to vote for Blanche.
Well, Republican U.S. Senator John Cornyn from Texas says he is not prepared to vote yes on advancing Todd Blanche's Attorney General nomination to the full Senate. We first told you about Senator Cornyn's demand from Blanche yesterday. He first wants Justice Department leaders to give a written commitment to end the controversial $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. That would allow people to file claims if they believe they were targeted by the Justice Department. Today, Senator Cornyn told reporters he hasn't received a response on that request. Now, Blanche says the fund is gone, but Cornyn and fellow Republican Senator Thom Tillis want it in writing. Senator Cornyn says he was supposed to meet with Blanche today about the fund, but the meeting was canceled.
Maybe they think I'm just going to give up or, go along, but they're mistaken.
Did they say they're going to respond to you by 4 p.m. today? Did they say they're going to respond to you by 4 p.m.?
I think they realize now that we're serious, and I think Senator Tillis is pretty much on the same page that I am, so they better get real, and there's not much time left.
The committee is scheduled to vote on Blanche's nomination tomorrow. Without support from Cornyn and Tillis, the nomination cannot advance.
Well, his soundbite was not as definitive as I thought it was. That was about the DOJ weaponization fund. In a wild twist, you know how I told you the other day that E. Jean Carroll finally got her money from Trump? Trump is begging the Supreme Court to get that money back for him.
This morning, President Trump asking the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene in his years-long legal battle with writer E. Jean Carroll, arguing he shouldn't have to pay $83 million in a defamation award because of presidential immunity. The president's lawyers urged the high court to review the case and overturn the jury's ruling in 2024 that found he defamed Carroll after repeatedly denying that he sexually abused her back in 1996. Last month, the Supreme Court denied the president's request to review a separate successful defamation lawsuit filed by Carroll. The president has denied any wrongdoing in both cases.
And no one believes him. Okay, I'm going to hit you with the highlights of the clips I made of the opening statements from today's hearing with Dr. Fauci. Then we're going to watch a couple of the clips that I haven't seen yet. Hawley and Fetterman questioning Fauci earlier today. Of course, the right-wingers are losing their minds because Fauci pled the fifth.
Frankly, the American people deserve an apology. I hope today Dr. Fauci will come clean, admit it was a mistake to fund dangerous research in China, admit that the risk of this dangerous research exceeded any possible benefits, ask forgiveness, and pledge to help our government devise safeguards so a man-made epidemic never happens again. Instead of an apology, you have for years avoided responsibility. The committee asked for your voluntary cooperation to come today. Your appearance had to be compelled by subpoena. President Biden issued you a sweeping pardon extending back to 2014. A pardon may protect a person from criminal prosecution, doesn't rewrite history.
This hearing appears to be a culmination of months of biased and selected efforts by the majority under the guise of a committee investigation to basically legitimize a predetermined conclusion that was reached years ago. In 2021, the chairman has called for today's witness to be fired, to be arrested, accused him of leading cover-ups and conspiracies. He has even featured the witness prominently in fundraising emails and on the cover of his book.
Given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
Also, you might say, wait, isn't that Laura Ingraham right behind him?
Although it pains me to do so,
and you'd be right,
because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
The faces she made were hilarious to me.
Your questions. Thank you.
We will now begin a round of questioning.
Naps with Cat. Love your name. Welcome in, friend. Thank you for being a freaking follower. We're going over the Dr. Fauci hearing from earlier. Those were clips I made for the other social medias, the TikTok, the YouTube. They threw his lawyer out. Rand Paul threw his lawyer out, which was totally grandstanding. Guess we can watch that clip before we... We'll get to the rest of these. This was...
To testify today, Senator Peters. You're not recognized.
So that is Fauci's lawyer right there. I had his name somewhere. He's saying something, but he doesn't have a microphone. Paul's saying he's not recognized.
You're not recognized. If you are unruly, you will be removed from the proceeding. You are not recognized, and you are not recognized, sir. Sir, you are not recognized. You are not recognized. Security, we'll hold off, but you will respect these proceedings. You were told not to sit at the table. You insist on sitting at the table, and we told you would not be recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. So I would say, sir, sit quietly and don't say another word. I said, sit quietly, you are not recognized. Another word and you're gone.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear what the attorney has to say.
He is not recognized by the committee or the chair. If he speaks again, he will be removed from the room. This testimony is from Anthony Fauci. This is not a game with his lawyers. He can advise, his lawyers can give him advice. He's got a half dozen here. They're all allowed to talk to him.
Yes.
All right? Yeah. But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered, for a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir.
You are not recognized, sir.
Remove him from the room.
So I'm assuming all these people, they clapped multiple times during this. I'm assuming these are, is that Officer Tatum? Are these all like social media influencers sitting behind them? Definitely Laura Ingraham from Fox News. This guy looks like he's a chud. This looks like some AM radio talk show host. I think they brought, or Rand Paul brought along a booster section.
That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
This is just wild. This is 40 minutes into the hearing, too, by the way. I haven't even seen the whole thing.
Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
They're usually not supposed to clap in these things, but, you know, Dr. Paul's the chairman.
The COVID-19 pandemic is not the first or the
So Peter's point was like, this committee has done a good job of working together in the past to solve problems, but this is just political grandstanding. That was what Senator Peters reiterated over and over again. We're going to go to Josh fucking Hawley. So I be prepared on this one.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline.
Why didn't you just answer, man?
Rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. Not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You remember Greg Folkers? Who was that?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Your chief of staff is the answer. Do you remember Patricia Conrad? Who was that?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
She was your personal assistant. And what were these individuals doing in the depth of the pandemic in November of 2020 when millions of Americans were suffering from COVID? What were they doing? I tell you what they're doing. Folkers was on your behalf soliciting and gathering information for a cash award. Let's look at it. We've got his email right here, right over my shoulder. Folkers says, I'm working on this nomination for the Dan David Award for Fauci. We need to beef up the COVID part. Do you have language in the can that you could share that delineates how we responded in new ways to COVID? He sends this to multiple federal employees. What was the Dan David Award? Do you remember, Doc?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
They wanted some language to talk him up for an award.
$900,000 cash award. And he got it because he used federal employees to get it. And this wasn't the only award, was it, Dr. Fauci? In fact, you applied for and received at least 8 other federal cash prizes on federal time using federal employees and federal resources. Here they are over my shoulder. Besides the Dan David Award, you've got the Partnership for Public Service, you've got the Adelson Prize, you've got the Smithsonian Award, you've got the National Academy of Medicine's Award, you've got the CDC Foundation.
Big money.
Turn your staff into a full-time application machine. You actually wrote to people and said, do you think maybe I'd qualify? And you got cash for all of this. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 employees, was it? In fact, you used 8 separate federal employees on federal time using federal resources to solicit cash awards. Isn't that true?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Here they are right over my shoulder. Here's all of them. The people that you use, federal employees, so that you could go and get cash money And the most hilarious part is that you weren't content to even dragoon them into applying for all of these cash awards. You then had them go out to the ethics agencies and ethics watchdogs and demand that you be able to get the money. That's right. We've got it in your emails. Your staff and employees on federal time, using federal resources, being paid with federal dollars, are soliciting cash for you, and then they're turning around and saying to the agency, we don't want just an answer, we want to get to yes, because Fauci wants the money. He wants it. We want to get to yes, and yes takes time. This is your chief of staff again, using federal email to pressure the agency's own ethics people so that you could get money.
Can somebody look up what these cash awards were? Were they grants or something? I'm wondering exactly what they are, because I don't think they were just direct payments to Fauci himself. But I feel like that's the way Holly wants to paint it.
That's it. We want to get to yes, and yes takes time. This is your chief of staff again, using federal email to pressure the agency's own ethics people so that you could get money, so that you could get rich. And it violated the law, didn't it, Dr. Fauci? Didn't it?
Has he been taking acting classes?
Is that a question?
It is a question. You can answer. Go ahead.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, it was direct cash payments from George Soros.
Prohibits the solicitation of cash awards or other personal benefits for federal employees. And it certainly prohibits using your own employees to do this. 5 CFR section 2635-205B. It says it right there in black and white. You cannot use federal resources, federal dollars, federal employees, federal offices, federal email, federal time to solicit cash awards, and you did all of it, and the worst part is thousands of people were dying while you were doing it. You were supposed to be the nation's doctor, and you're playing...
Wait a minute, I thought COVID was no worse than the flu.
You were doing with your time. Isn't that true?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah, I can see why. I can certainly see why. You know what I can't quite figure out is that why you were so obsessed with it, because you're already rich. I mean, and your scheme worked here. I mean, your net worth now is north of $12 million. You got over $1 million in cash awards during COVID, during a 12-month, 24-month span during COVID. $1 million you knocked down in cash money using federal resources. Now you're worth...
It is kind of boring, but I can prove they absolutely did it just for the social media clout. Rand Paul went and ran straight to Fox News. It was this afternoon.
You know, I was disappointed. I had hoped that he would come forward and perhaps apologize. 1 million Americans died, and many people, myself included, believe that this virus came from a lab that was funded by the U.S. government. The decision for that funding came from Anthony Fauci. A terrible mistake, maybe one of the greatest mistakes in modern medical history, to fund this dangerous research in a less than safe lab in a totalitarian country. But I think what we did learn is we saw a constellation of what he was saying privately and then what he was saying publicly. You know, I was disappointed. I had hoped that...
I don't know what the crime is that he committed. Everybody's like, he needs to go to jail. He's worse than Hitler. What crime did he commit? It wasn't all Republicans coming at him today. One of them was a Democrat, and he wore a suit for this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Fauci, I'm not here to perhaps attack you or defend or anything. It's really just more, honestly, I just want to acknowledge I have had members of my family die from COVID, and now I also grieve for people that I've met that have lost their business through the pandemic, and they'll never been the same. Now, as during the pandemic, I was the lieutenant governor, so we were in the middle of all of that maelstrom, trying to find the right balance between protect life and protect the economics and for all of it. And I'm not sure if we got it all right or wrong, but without a doubt, I can continue to question myself. But one that it's not about much more your regrets, but I have one. And that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab. And early on that became like a right-wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown virus out. So, but that became a very partisan thing. And now it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I hope.
Is it though?
I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea that maybe the truth might come from a side that's different than you are. But I think we should really be willing to pursue truth, no matter where that may have emerged, after for all of that. So, and I now cede the remain back to the chair. Thank you.
Did you guys catch that?
Senator Moreno.
I have no idea what he just said. And I do think the right-wing turn after brain damage is pretty fucking funny. The man suffered brain damage and became a right-winger. Makes perfect sense. I mean, he legitimately suffers from a disability, so I don't want to make fun of him, and it's still Disability Awareness Month. But man, that was rough. Let's see how much of this one we can stomach. Clinically, tell me when you're done with this one. This is Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno, who I think he's the one that's up for re-election, right? He may not be in the Senate very much longer.
Senator Johnson's comments about your opening statement, Mr. Chairman, I think it was dead on. Very, very well done. Mr. Fauci, do you know who David Schertler is?
On the advice of counsel,
yeah, because I don't want to have to keep hearing him say this.
My rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
No, I'm just asking you what it says.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
I'm going to
read him the Fifth Amendment.
The Constitution to my aide. He'll bring it over to you so you can have it for future reference. I think it's something that every American should know what the Constitution says. Do you know who wrote the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights.
I don't. Was it a Jefferson?
Constitution.
So you're invoking a right that you don't know who wrote it or what it says. Is that correct?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow. All right, let me tell you who David Schertler is for the audience because he was ejected by the chairman. He's a high-profile criminal attorney. He's represented some really great people, like Senator Bob Menendez. Maybe that's somebody who my Democrat colleagues may remember took gold bars.
He in prison now.
From the Egyptians. And there's an article here in the Washington Free Beacon that talks about why you would hire a guy like David Schertler. And the comment is, if you're in deep shit, that's who you call. Do you feel like you're in deep shit?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah, that just means they're a good lawyer.
What you think today is that somehow you're above reproach. Somehow you feel like you.
Bob Menendez used his gold bars.
Normal American.
Fauci used his prize money.
Can you do me a favor in the audience and stand up if during
Bought some good representation.
time of the COVID pandemic, you were called a racist for calling the virus a Wuhan virus or the China virus. If you thought the 6-foot rule was total crap, if you thought the vaccine wasn't something that you should take, if you thought it was outrageous the way the mask policy was rolled out, if you were fired from your job for not taking that vaccine, including members of the military, if you thought closing schools was catastrophically stupid, and that you thought that during these times saying these things made you somehow a lesser human being.
Yeah, he's asking people in the audience to stand up.
People behind you. You're not willing to do that? That's not a question. It's not a question. To your lawyers, not a question. It's a request. All you have to do is look up from your lawyers and look at the people who were absolutely shamed for saying what we know now to be the truth. You can't even look at them? That's a question. Are you able to look at them? You can sit down in the audience. There was a mom in Ohio during the depth of the coronavirus pandemic, decided to go to her high school football game for her son. They hadn't been out much. The kids had been learning at school, and then the school got shut down. They hadn't really gotten much out of that education. As any parent knew, that remote learning was no learning at all. But it was a Friday night. Her son wanted to go watch her buddy go play football. So they went to the stadium. They sat alone, far from everybody else, just a mom, a dad, a few kids. They didn't feel they needed to wear masks because it was stupid, because they were outside. They all live together. They're not near anybody. Dr. Fauci, do you know what happened to that mom?
Okay.
That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer.
I would assume he doesn't.
The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What were they asked to leave?
They were dragged out of that stadium and arrested.
I doubt they were arrested.
Those policies were put in place because you had moronic politicians that listened to the words of a megalomaniac who was more interested in having met.
They took him out back of the stadium, put a bullet in
the
their brain.
Suffering of the American people, and that is you. Your advice to communities like that, to idiotic politicians who enforce those rules, arrested that mom for watching a football game with her own family outside.
Hold on. It sounds impossible. Arrested football, Ohio, COVID. Okay, it's a true story, but there's more to it. There is more to it. Woman tased, arrested after not wearing mask at a football game. What's happened in Logan, Ohio? No, the whole interaction's caught on video.
Video shows a woman being tased by a school resource officer during a middle school football game in Logan. She was taken out in handcuffs after police say she refused to leave.
We require masks, like the Ohio High School Athletic Association, the guidelines say, and the health department guidelines say.
Superintendent.
Okay, so what? She was asked to wear a mask, and she wouldn't. So they asked her to leave, and then she wouldn't leave. Apparently, she grabbed on to the bleacher and they had to end up tasing her. I don't agree with cops tasing anybody, to be honest with you.
Leave.
We require masks, like the Ohio High School Athletic Association, the guidelines say, and the health department guidelines say.
Superintendent Monty Bainter says masks are a must at any school event. Logan police say the woman in the video, Alicia Kitts, was told several times to put a mask on. She told the officer she had asthma and she wasn't going to wear it. He then told her several times she would have to leave.
That's unreal.
When she refused, he used his taser on her shoulder in order to get her into custody. She was charged with criminal trespassing.
The police are doing their job exactly the way they're supposed to do. Absolutely, textbook police work.
Several supporters stood
Back
outside
the
of
blue.
Logan Police Department.
He was my school resource officer when I was in middle school, 20-some years ago. And he's just the nicest guy. So he does not deserve this hatred that he's...
They say the officer, Chris Smith, known as Smitty at school, is a huge part of many lives in the community.
To me, she brought it upon herself, and Officer Smitty was acting as he should have.
Hey, where's your mask?
This is all still under investigation.
Where's your mask?
In Logan, Jesse Starkey, ABC.
Nathan, what do you think I'm defending, my friend?
Community.
To me, she brought it upon herself, and Officer Smitty was acting as he should have.
Hey, where's your mask?
This is all still under investigation by Logan Police. In Logan, Jesse Starkey, ABC 6 News.
Officer Smitty, and it brought out the Back the Blue people. Amazing.
With her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell.
Wow, I'm sorry, I was indeed muted. Nathan, Flash, Ducky. I was on a roll. Keith over on YouTube, you say you love the police. Whose side do you take there? Are you on Officer Smitty's side? Or do you think Bernie Moreno is right and that woman should have never been arrested because of Dr. Anthony Fauci's policies?
Them all, run for a football game with her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people.
No, I watched the clips of the right-wingers and their self-righteous indignation, who are more concerned with fodder for right-wing social media and Fox News than they are having a productive hearing with this man, that they wasted his entire day, wasted our time. No, I watched the right-wing clips.
Will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace. So let me ask you an opportunity to answer one question. Will you apologize, just apologize, to the people who you harmed through your actions? Will you say, do you have the dignity to just say you're sorry?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth.
And he pleads the Fifth.
So you won't?
Nathan, I have no idea what you're blathering about, but welcome in, friend. This old, Flash, Fuzzy Simba. Bagheera. SC over on YouTube. Ducky. Tones, good to see you, friend. Flash. Good evening, everyone. Keystown, you never told me whose side you took. Are you on the side of the cops, or are you on the side of Bernie Moreno? You're calling me a danger, Nathan. What do you mean by that? And you're welcome to call in and talk to me. Like you're calling me a danger. T-. I don't know what you mean by that. I talk like a 5-year-old. Interesting. No, I don't want Nathan to leave. But like, can you back up what you're saying? How do I talk like a 5-year-old? I mean, I make jokes that are kind of on a 5-year-old level, for being honest. Telling people to wash their ass and shit.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
How do you figure that I'm a sheep? It's weird, like, even the word sheep is kind of you falling in line and using somebody else's language, don't you think? You can't come up with your own descriptor for me? You have to use all the same terminology right-wingers use? Tones deserves a titty slap.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
A lemming, yeah, a lemming. Call me a lemming. Washing your ass is gay. I think there was a right-wing article where it could have been satire about how washing your ass was gay. Oh, Oregon Gal says I'm a goat. There was no vaccine passport. I had the thing that showed I was vaccinated back years ago. That hasn't been a thing in a long time. I haven't needed it. I haven't gotten revaccinated for COVID in years. So do I have a vaccine passport? No. That's also some shit that right-wingers made up. You feel me, dog? You guys get pissed off about weird things. Suncats, welcome in. Yes, I got the thing that said I was vaccinated whenever I first got vaccinated. I never went any place that made me show it. Because this idea that we were under some draconian police state. We are under a police state, but it had nothing to do with fucking COVID. Never had to show a vaccine passport to go anywhere. Again, the thing you guys complain about just never existed. There was never a time, like large events, large gatherings, concerts. There were several concerts I was going to go to in 2020 that got canceled. But there was never a time that like you couldn't go out and enjoy yourself, go out and do things. Maybe public places were closed down, but you could go out, go for, like right-wingers act like you were stuck in your house. You could totally go out, go for a fucking walk. Go out and go to if you had like a playground in your apartment complex or whatever, like fucking. The world you guys, and here's the thing to me, is every time a right-winger is talking about like COVID restrictions, they show this picture of a cop on a beach talking to like a couple that's laying on a blanket, and the cop is just calmly talking to him. That's the police state that we had during COVID. That was the best you had. It was insane. Right-wingers want so desperately to be a victim. Can't even look at the system of, fucking why do right-wingers always get upset when you call them a right-winger? Do you believe in capitalism? You're a right-winger. There you go. Sorry, buddy. You believe in market solutions for problems, then you're a capitalist, you're a right-winger. The fuck are you talking about, dude? You're ranting in my chat. I'm getting high and vibing out on the news. B-, my friend. Good evening. Sir, you out there? You want to have a bong with me while I'm on a break? I don't know that she's out there. I think I got a yeah. Possibly. I think it did. Oh, I got a response. There she is. Am I trolling? Maybe I'm hearing voices. Who knows?
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
I don't remember what these were called. One of them was Jamaica. The other was Southwest. Oh, maybe she wasn't talking to me. That's possible. That's a good question, Warlord. What are we doing during the fun part? Man, went to restaurants all the time and never had to show a vaccine passport, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I guess some places did. I was in Alabama at the time. I'm pretty sure they didn't give a fuck. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, or maybe you're just making something up, man. How soon my types forget. Or maybe it was just fucking bullshit. And even if there were some restrictions, guess what? They ended whenever the public health emergency ended. Like they were supposed to. So why are you guys still bitching about it years later? there are real concerns about government privacy. We talk about flock cameras and data centers. We talk about the NSA and what the fuck is that? The Patriot Act. Well, it's called something else now, but they reauthorize that shit every year. That's the real impingement on your freedoms. A cop shooting someone in the face in the middle of the street in Madison, Wisconsin. That's an impingement on your freedom, but you're probably all for that. You're like, daddy government, please let me lick your shitty boot. Mox, good evening, friend. Buzzy Simba, did I tell you good evening? You're calling me an idiot, but you sound like a lunatic. Grab it hard. I love your name. Ooh, okay, so like you're mentioning Shay's Rebellion and the Whiskey Rebellion. That's not really Americans rebelling, it's pockets of Americans. I think overall the system has been pretty authoritative. Explain how I'm an idiot, please. So welcome in, grab it hard. Funny name.
Like, I mean, why is everybody so horny here?
Alright, let's get back to the news. Let's get this shit out of the way. I didn't even finish the Fauci shit. Trump was asked about the whole Fauci hearing during that press. Oh, no. Thun was asked about holding Fauci in contempt. This is the Senate minority leader, or majority leader.
It takes 60 votes to break a filibuster on a contempt of Congress resolution. Are you for contempt of Congress for Anthony Fauci, and based on that?
I think it's first off, it'll be a question for Senator Paul as the chairman of the HISGAC committee and the members of that committee. But certainly his answers today were completely inadequate, and I think that's certainly an option. I think that's option that ought to be available to us. What he did today in front of that committee was inexcusable.
So grab it hard. Like the thing about the American Revolution is, like, poor people were against independence, and they fought on the side of the British. They saw it as a rich man's war, whereas the other rebellions you put forward were like common people rising up against the American government. So a little bit like nuanced of a situation there. It was like the American aristocrats that wanted to break off from the British because they felt like they were being taxed too heavy. Like the farmers over here in America felt like, you know, it didn't matter who was fucking them.
Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today.
Yes,
Senator
sir.
Rand Paul said he's going to hold a vote on holding him in contempt of Congress. Do you think Dr. Fauci should face repercussions for this?
Well, I watched the whole thing today, but more importantly, I was a part of the whole Fauci. I inherited Fauci. He was here from the 1980s, so I had him for a period of time. And I disagreed with him on a lot. I would have had to close down the whole country if I listened to him. I went the Federalist way, which is basically to let the governors decide. And generally speaking, the Republican governors did very well. The Democrat governors did not very well. But Fauci wanted to have nobody.
The red states had way more deaths, so I don't know what you mean by very well.
Masks, as many masks as you could get. I mean, made a lot of mistakes. And He wasn't a big factor.
And then one of the things that also played into it was so Florida did well, but it's a warm state. So it turns out like being outside, having better ventilation helped in terms of how COVID spread. So that played into it, in which states did better in terms of death.
For me, he was a very big factor for Biden. And if you remember, even though we were prime time in terms of that whole disaster of COVID, fewer in the Trump administration than in the Biden administration.
Well, yeah.
We ran it well. Operation Warp Speed was talked about as being one of the great success stories anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's true, because Trump
we did a good job.
was there at the beginning of it, and then Biden took over during the peak of the pandemic. So, of course, more people died during the Biden administration. But if he wants to take credit for that, let him. All right, let's do a little crime news. We're in the crime section of the show. Content warning, especially for this first one. It's pretty gruesome. Woman who died in a boat crash has been identified as a former Marine. Man was taken into custody, apparently driving under the influence. It happened in Illinois. Oh, we don't have any reporting. It's just a scene of the video, the rescue scene. Woman was decapitated in a boating crash in Illinois, reportedly identified as 48-year-old Marine Corps veteran. See if they have reporting on this. Was the man driving it? Did he get DUI for driving a boat?
And we're hearing from the family of a woman who was killed in that horrific boat crash on the Fox River over the weekend. And what makes this even harder to understand, prosecutors now say the man charged in that crash had multiple prior DUI convictions. NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal spoke with the victim's relatives tonight.
She would go above and beyond for anyone. There was no one like her, and I know everyone says that, but the most selfless, kindest person you would ever meet.
Magdalena Jablonska was a loyal sister, partner, and a U.S. Marine who served her new country after immigrating to Chicago from Poland as a child.
She went straight out of high school.
The 48-year-old veteran who lived here in Des Plaines was out on the Fox River with family on Saturday when authorities say a drunk, speeding boater slammed into her vessel from behind at 80 miles per hour. The crash killing Maggie,
80,
injuring her dog and fiancé. Her devastated family now raising money for animals in her honor.
She loved dogs. She loved, the shelters for the puppies. She's never done anything for herself. Everything she does is for everyone else.
Meantime, McHenry County prosecutors charging this man, 45-year-old Richard Stevenson, who they say was twice the legal limit when he sped his high-powered pontoon in a slow zone. With a history of DUI charges, prosecutors called him...
Well, okay, as he said, legal limit. You're allowed to have a beer and be on your boat. You're just not allowed to be over the legal limit and be on your boat and guzzling. That's probably not a good idea. This dude twice the legal limit.
Pontoon in a slow zone. With a history of DUI charges, prosecutors called him a ticking time bomb that went off last Saturday. Stevenson also worked for the prominent Stevenson Crane Company out of Bolingbrook, which is owned by his family. In a statement, the company wrote,
"Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sincerest condolences to the victims' families and loved ones. Yesterday, Richard Stevenson's employment with the company in the equipment sales department was terminated. He held no leadership role. While the family of Magdalena says they're hoping he will be held accountable in court."
We're giving our hopes and faith that they will do right by her so no one else gets hurt.
The suspect, Stevenson, was ordered by a judge held behind bars until trial. His next court date's in August. As for the victim, her family planning a funeral and hoping to honor her with a donation to a dog shelter. In Des Plaines, Randy Gyllenhaal, NBC 5 News.
Uneducated rage bait. What spelled phase? What is? Here, chill. Not sure what you're talking about, James. But welcome in, my friend. Good evening. I've been making a lot more mistakes at like pumping out content. I have made way more mistakes than I want to make. I guess it just happens the more you're doing it. And I'm getting old. The eyes are going. Hey, buddy. He apparently doesn't want to say hi. Trying to bite me. Talk to him. He's doing that thing where he's pacing around and yelling. Today was, yeah, hey, come here, baby. I'll love on you. You want to get up here in my lap? He don't know what he wants. Come on, bud. Come on, baby. He's rubbing his head on a box. Today was day 2 of the Lindsay Clancy trial. For now, I didn't know it was her ex-husband. He apparently divorced her after this incident where she strangled her 3 kids and then jumped out a window trying to kill herself, but only paralyzed herself. She's now standing trial for murder. It started with her ex-husband on the stand.
Breaking story today. It's day 2 of Patrick Clancy's testimony, and it has concluded for the day. His ex-wife, Lindsay, is accused of killing their 3 young children. Today, he described the gruesome scene he came home to after running errands on the night of the murders. And the prosecution also played the 911 call he made, but we did not hear it.
It was perhaps the most difficult moment of the trial.
Yeah, the judge ruled that things like the 911 call won't be heard by the media, so they have to turn off the cameras as they're playing that evidence. So we did not actually hear the 911 call, but that was played in court today.
Bringing both the defendant and jurors to tears. Our Sarah Conji joins us live outside the courthouse in Plymouth tonight. Sarah.
Well, Jessica and Ben, Patrick Clancy was on the line with 911 when he discovered the children in his home. In the courtroom, we could hear that phone call, a recording of that phone call, and his intense reaction and screams during those moments. On the stand, he recounted exactly what happened that night.
She said I tried to kill myself.
Patrick Clancy, the father of the children killed, back on the witness stand today. He is testifying in the case against his ex-wife, Lindsay Clancy. She is accused of strangling their 3 children, each with exercise bands, in January of 2023. Patrick Clancy described returning home and finding Lindsay in the backyard after she jumped out a second-story window.
I said, "Where are the kids?"
And what was her response?
I would say on the crazy scale, it's up on the top on the 10. Now the hot scale,
She said they're in the basement.
And at that time, she didn't
it's probably a personal preference thing.
help, or they were in danger, or they were injured, correct?
Correct.
Once first responders arrived and tended to Lindsay, Patrick says he went to the basement, then discovering his children.
I immediately ran over and tried to take the band off. I saw Callan.
And where was he?
He was next to her.
And how did he appear?
He had a band around his neck.
And when you saw Dawson, what condition was he in?
I knew he was gone.
The prosecutor displayed evidence to the jury, including the clothing the children were found in.
And the baby died a couple of days later.
A onesie with the Mickey Mouse design. Lindsay Clancy appeared to break down as the 911 call made by Patrick was played in the courtroom. While on that call, he found the children and can be heard wailing and screaming, telling the dispatcher, quote, "She killed the kids." The 911 call was
3.
emotional in the courtroom. Some jurors were also in tears. In the afternoon, the defense cross-examined Patrick Clancy, in which he described
like 6, 3, and 8 months.
Mother. We'll have more of that cross-examination coming up at 6. Live in Plymouth, Sarah Conji, WCVB News Center 5.
Yeah, what a horrific story. But once again, I don't think she should be on trial for murder. The defense is arguing that it was her medication that did it to her. She had postpartum depression. That's probably true. She had made multiple communications about how she wasn't doing well, and she was seeking help for her mental health, and what she got was a whole bunch of different prescriptions. I think the system failed her. Whether it's a judgment that she needs to be locked up in some sort of psychiatric thing or something, that's a different question, but I don't think she should be charged with murder. But that is the defense's argument. The prosecution is arguing she planned it out, she did it on purpose. Maynard, stop. You're asking me why not murder? I mean, I don't believe in free will to begin with. We don't take mental health seriously enough. Mass shootings daily. It's hard to get therapy, easy to get meds, indeed. Cicero, she was also a nurse that was probably overworked. She was around babies all the time with postpartum depression. I don't think murder is what the woman should be charged with. If it needs to be something lesser, I don't know. Her husband is testifying on her behalf. Her ex-husband now. Fascinated by this case. Got a couple different police chases where I guess we're almost to the fun stuff. Man, are you still talking about vaccines? Wow. We're like way past that. That was so long ago. Catch up with us. We're going to Cali. There was a pursuit over 50 miles. I think I got a good chunk of it. But we're gonna see the repercussions of this pursuit. multi-agency.
Our team in Sky 5 HD over the dramatic end to this police pursuit happening in Pomona. Rich.
Yeah, that pursuit ending in a deadly crash here in Pomona on Town Avenue. This pursuit started around 1:30 this morning in San Bernardino County, and this vehicle led CHP on a pursuit before exiting the freeway, speeding up Town Avenue, losing control, slamming into a tree, and you can see what's left of the car. The driver was killed.
Can't park there.
So CHP is here for the investigation. Town Avenue from Indigo Court all the way up to Bonita will be closed for the investigation. Ginger.
We appreciate your update. It looks like some areas where, it's mixed use and everything, so a lot of people are going to be getting out the door and then realizing that the streets are closed here.
I don't know that we got the whole thing. I think I've got one of the 2 police chases that happened today, but I think it's this one. This one also has fun. Well, I mean, that one didn't have a fun thing happen during it. This one had a fun thing. This one, fun police chase. I'll always love it when bikes get involved.
10 freeway, and now we're back on the freeway, guys. Back on the freeway, LAPD with a full pursuit package, now chasing this suspect on the Harbor Freeway, guys. You've got bikers now in the mix here. They probably have no idea. Who knows? Maybe they do. But no helmets on those guys. They are coming very close to this suspect, and anybody who comes who encounters this suspect just has no idea, other than the sirens blaring, that this is a dangerous driver that is speeding up the freeway now. As you can see, not too much traffic in his way on the 110.
That was an LA moment for sure.
Watching those bikers.
An LA moment.
It had to be just coincidence.
And now we're back on the freeway, guys. Back on the freeway, LAPD with a full pursuit package, now chasing this suspect on the Harbor Freeway, guys. You've got bikers now in the mix here. They probably have no idea. Who knows? Maybe they do. But no helmets on those guys. They are coming very close to this suspect, and anybody who who encounters this suspect just has no idea, other than the sirens blaring, that this is a dangerous driver that is speeding up the freeway now. As you can see,
I'm pretty sure I have this full chase.
That was an LA moment for sure.
Watching those bikers.
Maybe we'll watch it some point in time.
Just coincidence. That could not have been planned. But yeah, these bikers doing wheelies with no helmets.
10 freeway, and now we're back on the freeway, guys. Back on the freeway, LAPD with a full pursuit package.
Wow.
Chasing this suspect on the Harbor Freeway, guys. You've got bikers now in the mix here. They probably have no idea. Who knows? Maybe they do. But no helmets on those guys. They are coming very close to this suspect, and anybody who who encounters this suspect just has no idea, other than the sirens blaring, that this is a dangerous driver that is speeding up the freeway now.
It's a Mercedes, isn't it?
Not too much traffic in his way on the 110.
That was an LA moment for sure.
Watching those bikers made me so nervous.
Yeah, it had to.
Yeah, Mercedes and a police chase with a bunch of bikes doing wheelies around it.
Doing wheelies with no helmets.
Yeah, the back of his head was awful close to the concrete there. To not have a helmet on. We're going to Beaverton.
Why is everybody so horny here?
Beaverton, Oregon. We're going to Beaverton. In Beaverton, Oregon, we have dash cam of a road rage incident.
This morning, a wild road rage incident caught on camera in Oregon.
He's driving in reverse with me.
Police releasing footage from the victim's dash and rear view camera, showing a suspect allegedly following them.
Hi, I have a disturbance that someone's following me.
The suspect seen driving erratically, swerving in front of their car and slamming the brakes.
Yeah, I have to make a U-turn because he's blocking the road.
The victim's wife screaming from the passenger seat.
Don't worry.
This is a stalking.
The couple saw the other driver reach into his coat several times like he had a gun.
I don't know. He seems like he has a weapon or something. He was trying to go under his clothes to grab one.
Then watch this, the driver pursuing them in reverse.
Oh my God, this guy's crazy. He's driving in reverse right now, trying to follow me in reverse. This guy's on drugs. For sure.
You can see him flying down the road backwards. Police say for over a mile, at one point driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh my God, he's about to hit another car right now.
The victim's driving straight to the police station. Authorities catching up to the suspect, 29-year-old Armin K. Hastings, shortly after and arresting him.
You're under arrest, step out of the car.
Police finding a black airsoft gun in his pocket.
Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
Well, was he on something? They didn't say if he was on something. I feel like I've seen that in a horror movie. I totally have a what's that one movie? They're still making them. Final Destination. I've got a Final Destination moment. Dude survived. And it's amazing. Like you see the cab of his truck, and it is completely wood all through it. I have that somewhere. Fast and Furious. 2 kids were on an e-bike. This happened in Minnesota. 2 kids were on an e-bike. I believe they're okay.
Talk about a close call. These 2 kids riding together on an e-moto were just feet away from a life-altering crash. And parents, did that video catch your attention? Because police sure hope so. Jeff,
wait, were they pulling over the kids?
All new at 6.
A close call caught on camera. The white truck on the left swerving to avoid 2 kids on an e-moto as they turned across speeding traffic. A Champlin police officer was about to pull them over onto the shoulder before their sudden turn.
That could have been a tragedy that this community would now be shaken with. You know, it's horrible.
A traffic camera offers another alarming perspective, showing just how fast the white truck was moving as the driver quickly avoids the 2 kids on 2 wheels. It happened around 8 a.m., right during rush hour on Highway 169. The speed limit along this stretch is 55 miles per hour.
Nice.
For the car to come to a complete stop, the driver would need several hundred feet and a few seconds to react and hit the brakes.
Neither one wearing a helmet. One was carrying a helmet. They said they had that, right?
Chief Glenn Schneider says the officer
Well, at least he was carrying a helmet.
Crossed the highway to a safe spot before calling their parents to pick them up and educate everyone about the rules of the road.
This year, it seems like everybody's driving them, whether it's an electric assist bike or an e-moto, and it's getting that information to parents about the dangers behind these, you know, the city ordinances and state statutes that cover them.
Too fast, too slow.
Minnesota are enacting laws for e-bikes and their much faster counterpart, e-motos, which operate more like a motorcycle than a bicycle. Some are requiring e-moto drivers to have a license, registration, and insurance to be used on public roads. Otherwise, they can only be driven on private property.
I am grateful that an officer was there that observed this and that we could bring this to attention to Champlin community and public as a whole. It's a great reminder.
I feel like we should probably have better planned cities.
About safety.
In Champlin, Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
Where only cars are allowed in like a roadway, and then inside the city there's all kinds of, there's walkway traffic, and then there's e-bike, scooter, bicycles, that kind of traffic we should have. But I think we're kind of past that point, right? You have to like completely redesign cities, and I don't know that there's the appetite for that. Might want to get rid of roads around some residential areas, because you have things like this in Florida where a truck crashed the fuck into a house.
All right, Brandon, thank you. And developing now, a driver crashing their truck through a Lauderhill home. The driver now in custody for driving under the influence.
Local 10's Trent Kelly is live in Lauderhill with...
Oh, he'd had a drinky drink.
Yeah, what a close call this was overnight. Fortunately, this home here behind me is vacant, so no one was inside. But check it out. Right behind me is where that driver first went into the house. The force of the crash so great, their truck actually came right out the other side. And now we know the person behind the wheel at the time, according to police, was driving drunk. A major cleanup effort in Lauderhill overnight after a driver who police say had way too much to drink got behind the wheel of their pickup truck and slammed straight into the side of a house. The impact so great, the truck went in one side and came out the other. It happened around 1:30 this morning at a home on Northwest 43rd Terrace and 11th Street, not far from Sunrise Boulevard. The pickup hitting what appears to be a carport that was converted into an extra room. After the crash, police say the driver remained on scene, officers determining that driver was intoxicated and later arrested them.
It is sad.
Well, he remained on the scene. He didn't run away.
Drinking, and they're not able to control themselves.
This woman lives right next door and feels fortunate the driver,
I guess you should look up which is worse.
Second, narrowly missing her home.
This is a
The DUI or leaving the scene of an accident.
have passed there to go there. It's really a blessing.
Our cameras rolling after the truck was towed, workers wrapping chains around large pieces of concrete that once made up the side of the house and used a large truck to try and haul them away. Fortunately, the home is currently vacant and no one was living there. Because of that, officers say no one was injured. And according to neighbors, this home is used as a rental property. The previous tenants, they say, moving out just a few months ago. No doubt this situation could have ended much differently had someone been staying there. So far, police have yet to identify the driver involved in all of this, but they tell us that person now facing DUI charges. That's the latest live from Lauderhill. I'm Trent Kelly, Local 10 News.
Once again, I've never liked this guy. I feel like I've pretty much been able to call the creeps, but I've seen him in concert. Amazingly enough, I know he's known more for his acting, but I've seen his band. They were the opening act for Muse one year. Jared Leto being hit with some sexual assault allegations from multiple women.
Following some breaking news, multiple women accusing actor Jared Leto of criminal sexual conduct. The women came forward.
Is it Leto?
A BBC documentary called Jared Leto, Hollywood's Dark Secret.
Yeah, it's Leto.
They say the alleged actions happened back when they were teenagers. Leto is denying.
I mean, who could have guessed? He doesn't look like it at all.
Actions happened back when they were teenagers. Leto is denying the allegations against him. Joining us now is NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas. Chloe, we want to play a part of the BBC documentary that's come out where some of the women are sharing their allegations, and we want to warn our viewers that it is disturbing. We're going to play it, and then we'll talk on the other side.
He responded, texted me, and gave me his number. Did he know you were 16? I know for sure, if not then, I did tell him a couple of days later when we were texting. I was sitting on the bed waiting for him to get ready, and he called me and he was like, hey, like, come in here so we can talk while I'm, in the shower.
So, Chloe, what else did these women say in this documentary? And do we know if any of these allegations have also been reported to law enforcement?
So that's a really good question. NBC News, we have made inquiries with multiple different police departments in Los Angeles, also over across the pond in the UK. Look, it's a little bit murky. Some of these
Give them the Tate treatment.
These women have changed their names. Some of them are in shadow. They claim that.
Because wait a minute, didn't he run a cult as well? Or am I thinking of someone else? Doesn't he have some sort of multi-level marketing cult scheme going on too? Like the Nexus people or whatever.
Jared Leto knew that they were teenagers. One woman interviewed says that he knew that the age of consent in California.
Because he totally seems like a cult leader.
Explicitly knew that she was 17. He has come out with a
weird island cult
statement saying that he has never sexually assaulted anyone. I think the big question right now is, did he know that some of these women, outside of the allegations that are disturbing about sexual assault,
or was he involved in the
were
Nexium
underage at the time? And I want to point out that the BBC, as part of their own investigation, says that they spoke to family members. They saw text messages in corroboration that they felt bolstered these very strong and serious allegations.
Those glasses are ugly.
Allegations. What else is he saying?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'll read you the statement. It's a short one. He says, "I have never sexually assaulted anyone in my entire life. These claims are absolutely and categorical."
Seth Rollins is trying to look like Jared Leto. I see it now. That's why I hate what he made Freakin. That's why I hate that he stole my name. He's trying to be like Jared Leto. That is not my idea of what someone named Freakin would be.
False. There have been rumblings over the last year plus after Airmail, a very popular newsletter, published their own investigation into claims of misconduct. And a very famous DJ really started all of this by a disturbing post that she posted on Instagram claiming that Jared Leto knowingly goes after.
Oh, he doesn't own an island. He rents an island.
Denied these claims. And we are continuing to look into all of this.
All right, Chloe Malas for us. Chloe, thanks so much.
Thanks, Chloe.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app.
Shut up, Tom Llama.
YouTube channel.
The thing, when I saw his band, it was the middle of like July or maybe the beginning of August in fucking southern Georgia. It was like south of Atlanta at the amphitheater. And it was 90 something degrees, humid as all shit in the swamp. And this motherfucker had on a coat and a jacket. Like he had on multiple different layers as if it was Christmas time or some shit. And I'm like, there has to be something wrong with him if he's dressing like that. Nobody in their right mind dresses like that in southern Georgia. In the middle of summer. And think about it, he was on, I'm like out in the crowd in the amphitheater and it gets dark and shit and it started feeling really good. You know, he's on stage, there's fucking lights and shit. I don't know how he had stripped down to a different outfit by the, like he had different layers for different sections of his performance, I guess. But like it wasn't, he still had on long sleeves by the time we got to the end of it. Amazingly enough, because I thought he was like famous for getting shirtless. Why is this kid looking at me like this? Listen, this woman is running a barbecue plate scam. I don't know how it works, but she's running a barbecue plate scam. You ready for this one?
Thank you, Earl. Also new this morning, the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office wants everyone, listen, think twice before you donate to something. The Sheriff's Office shared this picture of a woman identified as Lisa Mikulka. Deputies say in March, Mikulka collected money for a plate sale to help the family of a motorcyclist who died in a crash. But police reported they never received the food. And according to the sheriff's office, the family of the deceased never received any money collected. Deputies are asking anyone who believes they were scammed to give their office a call.
Was the barbecue any good? Oh, they never got their plate. We don't know if the barbecue was any good. That's a no on that one. I was expecting they were going to tell us that the motorcycle wreck never happened. Okay, what's the likelihood that people in my chat have seen John Oliver from this past week? If you didn't watch it yourselves, you probably watched it in somebody's chat, right? Like, has everybody seen it? Not everybody's seen it. Okay, cool. Next question. How many people know what Buc-ee's is? Yes, good evening. Welcome in. You know what a Buc-ee's is? Soup. Also, Chronic, I don't know if I told you good evening. If you don't know what a Buc-ee's is, apparently you're gonna find out sooner or later. War Machine, good to see you, friend. I just recently found out what a Buc-ee's was. They've invaded my area. It's apparently an invasive species that's coming everywhere. Excellent bathrooms, yes. I did not go in the bathrooms, but I've heard they're amazing bathrooms. Is it curious if like you didn't go in the bathroom? I had one of the brisket thing sandwiches. I'm a Sheets guy. I like a Sheets. Apparently, so Buc-ee's is very bad for the environment. They're also very litigious, apparently. And they'll go after anybody, and John Oliver is now challenging them to come after him.
7:45. Welcome back, everyone. A beloved Texas-based convenience store chain, Buc-ee's, continuing to grow all across the country. And as they work to expand, they are, of course, protecting their brand with a number of different lawsuits.
One of the most recent examples comes out of Ohio, where Buc-ee's claims a moose gas station mascot in the state too closely resembles the iconic beaver, even though
it doesn't.
The moose was there first. Now the chain is facing backlash on some late night news. Last week, tonight's host John Oliver is taking Buc-ee's, saying he wants to fight the major company with his own brand.
So happy to announce that you can now buy this image on a variety of products, from tumblers to hats to shirts to onesies to mugs to pajamas to umbrellas to stickers to socks to, of course, underwear.
I mean, the list keeps going on, right? The mascot, the squirrel, is named Mr. Nutbutter.
He brought out Mr. Nutbutter.
Chief Legal Analyst Collie Rhodes, who knows more about trademark law than anyone. All right, clearly this started out as a joke, as parody. But when it comes, what's the major issue? When you look at trademark disputes, Buc-ee's is the big king when it comes to winning these.
Well, they are king. I mean, and they do protect their brand like I think any other brand is going to do. Like the reason we have these laws in place is because if you have now created an image that can create some type of revenue, you don't want someone else to be able to now infringe on that. And so while I think the other lawsuit in Ohio, Buc-ee's stands a chance to be extremely successful in this one right here, it depends on what John Oliver's attempting to do. If he's really trying to go down that route, I think Buc-ee's would have an opportunity to shut this one down as well. The market looks extremely...
Listen. As John Oliver pointed out, Mr. Nutbutter is like 3 for 3 in lawsuits, so bring it the fuck on.
similar, and so that's going to be hard for him to get around. And then it really just depends on where he's attempting to compete. You're obviously not a gas station, but if you're still selling clothes, if you're selling items that have that image, that have that mark that looks very similar to Buc-ee's, it's going to be hard for you to say how is yours distinctly different, and will it cause a consumer to confuse the two? That's what the court's going to be concerned with. Would someone believe that this image that you're getting, or would they have purchased it only because it's similar to what there is? It's not going to be fair use, so you're not using it in some type of just educational standpoint or some short aspect. He has monetized, it seems like, every aspect of his product using an image, a mark that looks similar to theirs, and so it's going to be hard for him to distance.
Oh, it is called parody, and he is 100% protected
himself from potential liability from Buc-ee's.
With this Buck off.
And the thing that Buc-ee's is up against is that John Oliver apparently has unlimited HBO money to be able to fight this shit, because he does it all the fucking time. So Buc-ee's isn't going to be able to bully him.
Right. He is raising money. All the money goes to an organization to fight hunger relief. So he says, hey, Buc-ee's, if you do want to come at us for this, keep in mind you're going to be taking money away from people who need it. But he's
hilarious.
A lot of these lawsuits failed because Buc-ee's has the resources to fight them, and a lot of these don't. Do you see this actually coming to a head, or if Buc-ee's letting this one go?
Part of the argument that he makes is accurate, that yes, if you want to be successful in a lawsuit, you need resources. I say it all the time. Litigation is expensive, right? You start and you may have the initial cost, but now you're a year down the road, 2 years down the road, you don't have the resources to go forward, and then you just decide, okay, I can't go forward anymore. But let's be clear, Buc-ee's is successful in most of these claims because the market is protected. Have you been using it in some type of trade prior to the other individuals attempting to use it? Have you filed and protected some type of protections, either patent, copyright, or trademark protection? If you've done that, regardless of whatever aspect you're trying to protect, the protections are going to be there. David versus Goliath happens all the time in the legal system, but if your object is protected, regardless of the amount of resources you have, as long as you continue to fight, it will be there. So yes, if they wanted to push, they could. I think this is one that you kind of just let go because it's bringing more attention than anything, where folks are still looking at your mark and recognizing as you're attempting to grow, hey, that's still Buc-ee's brand. Yeah, he's making a joke, a parody of it, but if there was a real attack on their brand, they would defend this and would be successful.
Well, and of course, his show is on HBO. That's a big fish against a big fish.
It is.
If it were to go that far, I'd be curious.
Big fish versus big fish.
How far HBO would defend John before they're like, listen, you're on your own, brother. This is going to come out of your own paycheck. So,
no, they go all the way.
Appreciate that.
Queen's.
At least until the next merger, and who knows what the fuck happens then. You guys like Buc-ee's? When Curiouser came back the other night, she asked me if I wanted a Buc-ee's sandwich. I'm like, no, I don't think, because this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I don't think I can handle it. But I ate it the next day. It was all right. But it was also next day sandwich. But it held up pretty well for next day sandwich. So, good Buc-ee's. The thing that I had when I actually got something from there was like a brisket burrito or some shit. It was pretty good. Like, good for a gas station. On the high end of a gas station food, but I'm also judging it against like a Sheetz. Big fan of Sheetz. People gotta eat. People gotta drink too, but apparently Americans aren't drinking near as much. Alcohol sales in America are struggling. To which I say, light one up, tip one back. You like that transition?
A celebrity-backed bar closing its doors in Portland. Is it just another sign that drinking is on the decline?
I don't know. Is the gin done?
Actor Ryan Reynolds backed Aviation American Gin Distillery, pouring its last drink. When it opened just 4 years ago, Reynolds said it would be Disneyland for adults, complete with a tasting room and visitor center.
Other distillery tours keep their visitors behind glass, but at Aviation, we know that people truly learn by doing.
This is our bottle.
I want to show you our pack.
Okay, so soup. Says that Buc-ee's brisket better than $30 brisket that you've had in Washington. I will say that's a shame because Buc-ee's couldn't even touch the best brisket that I've had in Tennessee, Alabama, many places I've been, North Crackalacky. So I am sorry. You need to come to the South. We'll take you for good brisket. We get one of those like fucking family style trays. You get your sausage and your brisket, and you're like, oh, like a fucking smoked turkey or something. You get like your 4 meats and 5 sides or some shit like that kind of deal. That's the way to go. Anyway, despite Thread's best efforts, people are drinking a lot less here in America.
A celebrity-backed bar closing its doors in Portland. Is it just another sign that drinking is on the decline?
I don't know. Is the gin done?
Actor Ryan Reynolds backed Aviation American Gin Distillery.
I think Ryan Reynolds been out here doing too much shit, and he can't do any quality control in all his projects because he's got his hands in everything now. So you can't tell me that like he's actually in his bar in Portland making sure everything's running smooth, right?
Pouring its last drink. When it opened just 4 years ago, Reynolds said it would be Disneyland for adults, complete with a tasting room and visitor center.
Other distillery tours keep their visitors behind glass, but at Aviation, we know that people truly learn by...
Aviation's a shit name.
I'll show you our packaging department.
Flash forward to now, its parent company, Diageo, that acquired Aviation in 2020 and kept Reynolds as the face of the brand, responding to our request for comment. After careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to close, moving production to other facilities, adding, this decision reflects evolving business needs as we continue to support growth ambitions for our Aviation American Gin brand. Diageo sales down almost 10% in North America in its latest quarterly earnings report compared to the same time last year. A rep for Ryan Reynolds said he relinquished operational control of the gin brand when he sold it to Diageo. It's not the only liquor label making cuts. Brown-Forman, the maker of Jack Daniels, cutting 12% of its staff last year, and beer maker Heineken slashing thousands of jobs, all as more and more Americans say they're leaving booze behind. Last year, only 54% of U.S. adults said they drink alcohol, falling more than 10 points since 2022, and the lowest number since Gallup started asking the question in 1939.
Anybody under the age of 45 can't afford to drink.
The shift, driven by Gen Z and millennials, fewer of whom now drink than older age groups.
Nobody can afford anything, yet you want me to go to a bar and you want me to spend $36 on 2 cocktails?
The reason we don't go...
Going to a bar and shit is expensive, but now going and buying your own from a liquor store is still 100% within range. Going to an event and getting in a beer like at a fucking beer cart is outrageous. Maynard, chill your ass.
Go to clubs no more is because everything's too expensive.
The average cocktail now above $13, according to a market research firm, Technomic. In places like New York City, it's even more. But for some, the shift away from drinking goes deeper than their pockets.
Alcohol is literally poison.
You know, it may be a shift towards wellness. You've got GLP-1s, which are playing a big role in how much people are consuming both food and alcohol. And you've got a little bit of a shift away from drinking culture.
People seem to be moving away from the culture, but still craving the community, with buying drinks at bars on the rise, even as alcohol consumption falls. Experts say people are looking for options, whether it be swapping a Cosmo for cannabis, which has doubled in popularity over the past decade as states have legalized marijuana, or switching a mojito for a no-hito.
The kind of most successful model that you see is where there's a really good non-alcoholic cocktail list and a really good alcoholic cocktail list, and that way everybody gets to hang out.
Non-alcoholic beer, wine, and spirits sales now surging 22% year over year as people look for drink alternatives to quench their thirst without the buzz. Meaning, in the battle of the bars, the ones that can shake things up may come out on...
I just don't know. What would you want to drink if you don't get drunk?
And Camilla joins us now. I don't know about you. I have one glass of wine at night and suddenly I am awake at 2 in the morning, which I hate. But listen, there's also been this research in the past few months showcasing how dangerous drinking can be. And maybe that's pushing more people away as well.
Yeah, I have a baby coming, so no alcohol for me right now. But I think it's the studies.
No, she really wanted to make that joke.
This desire and this trend to be healthy and to eat healthy and to take care of your body. So this new study is from the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs, and it does suggest that adults should have no more than 1 drink a day. Now, the recommendation, as you see there, is from an international team of...
That seems about right.
And it's different from the U.S. dietary guidelines, both the past and the present ones.
I've even heard like a drink a day is good for you.
A daily limit of 2 drinks for men and 1 for women, and clearly that is not the case anymore.
Hey, women can drink just as much as men.
Absolutely.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news
Shut up, Tom Llama.
on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Alcohol sales may be struggling, but CD sales are booming. Did anybody see that coming? Do I have any audio files in the chat? Raise in. Welcome in. Anybody else been buying CDs?
Sales are making a comeback, and to workers at a local record store, that news is, well, music to their ears. Here's Chris Sonnegy with what's behind the surge in sales.
In a land before digital, there was this, and there was this.
It's new to them, even though it's old.
And record stores like Forever Young and Grand Prairie sell nostalgia.
Every day we have people, it's their first time here, and they're younger teenagers.
But nostalgia itself is getting younger. I'm not talking about the customer. We've known that vinyl has been capitalizing on vintage popularity, but would you believe that CDs, compact discs, are now making a nostalgia-fueled comeback?
Last year was when we started seeing a real increase in the CDs.
Newer, cheaper, and easier to maintain than its older brethren, CDs still provide the same old-time thrill.
Everything I bought is old blues music.
Ron Kress knows there's things about that CD box you don't get on an app.
I like to look at, everything that's written on them and any information on them that I can get. You don't get that when you download.
I had a CD player in my room, and I played a lot of Linkin Park.
And for the younger generation,
played a lot of Linkin Park.
Can appreciate those iconic album covers.
Just on your phone, it's just Spotify. Like, you can't show anything. With CDs, like, it's art.
Another reason for the resurgence, it's music with no subscription, no registration. Buy it one time, play it forever.
What if everything goes down? I still have a bunch of music I can listen to.
I literally have people jump up and down, sometimes screaming when they find something. They're so excited they can't wait to go home and play it.
Something you can play, something you can show, something you can find, and once you find it, you never have to give it up.
Oh my God, he rickrolled us. That was awesome. I can't believe we got rickrolled. Great ending. I feel like the next story is going to bring us back down. It's the attack of mutant rats in New York City. I don't think they've trained them in karate just yet.
The city's war against rats could be in trouble. Research showing that they are growing resistant to common poisons.
Michael George spoke with scientists who discovered the so-called mutant rats.
Ask any New Yorker, they've got a strong opinion about rats.
I hate rats. I'm scared of them.
But that fear may only grow when people learn New York and many other cities are now home to
those are cute.
Rats. A Rutgers University study found the DNA of rats and mice is literally changing. The rodents are growing resistant to rat poison.
It's a health concern. That's actually the main reason why we always have to keep an eye on the mice and the rats.
Entomology professor Chonglu Wang and researcher Jinjia Yu conducted the study, trapping mice and rats in urban environments and testing them. They found about 70% of mice and 35% of rats have the mutation.
Which means these mice were less likely to be killed by eating the poison and will survive the treatment.
And that means controlling rat populations will only get tougher. More than just pests, they also can spread allergens and disease. Rat poison.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was about to say, I'm cheering on the rats.
Been using it for decades. Of course. They need to find something else.
I don't know what to do. But
get cats.
The study's authors say while some less effective poisons can still be used, cities should explore alternatives.
I've learned that was a thing in history. Societies just got more cats, and that's what that's how you fight off the rats. Cats are not bad for the environment. Cats are really good for the environment, and they eat rats. Bringing the cane toads to eat the cats. They're catastrophic for the bird population, which is also out of control in New York and Chicago, and I'm getting ready to tell you about that.
Alternative strategies. New York has reported success with a simple idea, requiring all trash be put in sealed bins.
Everyone should be aware of these.
Wait a minute, that wasn't already a thing. You remember that episode of The Simpsons when they're like, and you put the trash in the trash can? And we're like, trash in the trash can. I know this, Soup. I'm on the cat's side. You're acting like you're acting like I'm acting like I'm not aware of this information. I'm totally into it. I worship our cat overlords, and I welcome them. I just putting the trash in the trash can. What a novel fucking idea, and that'll stop the rats. We just came to that conclusion in 2026.
Alternative strategies. New York has reported success with a simple idea, requiring all trash be put in sealed bins.
Everyone should be aware of these creatures and we need to put more efforts, try to manage them.
In cities always changing, the rodents are adapting too. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Last year, the city said its sealed trash can policy had led to a 20% decline in rat sightings.
I'm amazed that it took them that long to come to that conclusion. You say the cats have decimated bird populations, but the birds are attacking people in Chicago. Red-winged blackbirds keep dive-bombing people across Chicagoland.
They are dive-bombing people across Chicagoland. They're called red-winged blackbirds. They are fierce and also fiercely protected. Joining us now to tell us how to avoid these encounters is Tom Tittins. He's the supervisor of plant health care at the Chicago Botanic Garden. Mr. Tittins, thank you so much.
Tittins, Mr. Tittins.
Well, good morning. Happy to be on.
So let's talk about this. In terms of these birds in particular, these red-winged blackbirds, are they native to the state of Illinois?
Yeah, the red-winged blackbirds are a native migratory bird. And yeah, you've got a nice picture of one on there. That is the male that has the very distinctive red markings on his wing. And he's the one who gets very protective in the spring.
Now, what is it about this time of year that has them dive bombing folks? What's going on there?
Well, actually, it starts a little bit earlier. It starts like in mid-May. And right now we're kind of at the end of that window of when they're nesting. And this guy is the male, and from mid-May through the month of July, he will be protecting his nests. So they'll have a nest with a female with eggs, and he will be a very good parent and be protecting that nest in the springtime. And in the process of protecting that nest, anyone who walks too close to that nest may get a little visit from him.
So that's what's happening. So as you get
He'll peck you on the head.
where their nest is, that's when the bird gets protective and then dive bombs over your head. Is that what you're saying happens there?
Yeah, you get within like 25 feet of where there's a female in a nest with eggs or a young. That male will be territorial and will kind of protect you, will swoop down near you, brush you, kind of scare the heck out of you for a second. But actually, it's kind of a cool nature experience. But sometimes
ease into it.
Yeah, a cool encounter that maybe you wouldn't normally have. Have you seen an unusual
Getting dive bombed by a bird
of this type of behavior this season compared to past seasons?
Definitely this season we're having a lot more red-winged blackbird activity, and it actually started earlier this year. By holiday weekend, we were having a number of different spots at the Botanic Garden that we were having fun with them. And at this point, at the end of July, their nesting period is just about over. So I think we're just about through with the fun for this year. But we can get ready
with the fun,
because I'm sure that we'll be back. And trends have shown over the years, their populations have been growing. And I think it has to do with kind of the warmer winters. But, yep, it's a season. It's some seasonal fun we have every year.
I want to talk to you about the part about if you're the person, you know, out there walking, maybe near the wetlands, a lagoon, in a park or something, and this bird then dives on top of your head. Have you had reports of any injuries? And is there anything that we can do if we do have this encounter that could make us protected, like wearing a hat or something like that? I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I think wearing a wide-brimmed hat would definitely help give you a little sense of security. I think when you're walking along a path that's near a wetland or a lake or a marsh, I think just walking, keep a swift walking pace, because if you stop, that kind of gives them the opportunity.
Be Taylor Swift about it.
Be aware. A lot of times, nature preserves or institutions like us will put up warning signs, so keep an eye out for that, and just kind of keep walking and really, when they swoop down on you, generally it's just a little swoop down. Very, very seldom will they actually touch you. There's a very, very occasional time he might give you a little peck on the head, but that's pretty rare.
Okay.
But when you don't see him coming, you're a little bit startled.
Okay.
They might give you a peck. Here's a bear and a dog coming face to face. Apparently, Maynard doesn't like that.
Of course, have become a familiar thing across the Front Range this summer. And many of you have sent in photos and video to our newsroom.
But this large black bear in Arvada did more than just pass through last night. It actually hopped a fence, made itself pretty comfortable on a back patio, and then appeared to share a quiet moment with the family dog. Fox 31's Nate Beld is joining us live from the neighborhood tonight with the
that's being cute
encounter here, Nate.
Yeah, guys, this happened on the west side of Arvada near 64th and Virgil Way. It was last night that this bear was coming through the neighborhood. He hopped somebody's fence onto their trash cans and eventually made its way to the patio next door, where it sat with that dog for a brief moment. And one resident tells us he doesn't think this was their first encounter.
Lucas Eads moved into the neighborhood back in 2018.
I like it a lot. We were really close with all of our neighbors.
Not all of his neighbors have been human, though.
Bears, bobcats, hawks.
They knew each other.
And bears, or at least one that Eads says they've been watching.
They'd made friends
for the last
before.
3 years, eating his favorite foods from their trash cans.
Carbs, he likes pizza, Chinese food, beef stroganoff.
He started strapping him down a while ago to prevent that. But last night, his security cameras caught this video of the bear hopping their fence onto the trash cans once again.
The video I sent you, he walks over here, he'll hook one of his paws.
He's a cutie.
On the gate, and then he uses these posts as like a ladder, and he climbs right over.
Eads says he usually will bang on the door and he'll run off. But last night, the bear went into the yard next door. And like any friendly neighbor, he introduced himself to the current residents.
And my wife was like, oh, look, the bear is laying down on their patio with Sully.
Sully, the neighbor's dog, looked unfazed. Eads thinks this wasn't their first meeting.
It almost seemed like they had some familiarity.
The bear,
yeah, they know each other.
After their dog started barking at it too. He says, like the bear, they try to be friendly neighbors as well, and reminds people to treat them kindly.
The bear seemed very calm the other night, and I think part of that was how we were acting around it. And I think that situation, if we would have been panicking, could have added excitement to either the dogs or the bear, and who knows what could have happened.
So Colorado.
I could have ended on that one. That one was cute. I don't know if this one is going to be cute. I don't know if it's a last animal video cuteness. Some of you will find it cute. Not everybody. Here's a couple of rattlesnakes doing a dance.
It's not something you see every day. What appears to be two rattlesnakes lifting their bodies several feet off the ground and swaying back and forth as they face one another. Tony Diamore was driving to work when he witnessed the wild scene.
Yeah, they were like twisting, almost like braiding together, and it was really weird.
It happened around 9
were they fucking?
Morning. Tony pulled out his cell phone and captured what experts describe as a combat dance between two male rattlesnakes.
They were just in the bike lane of a very busy
combat dance.
So that was Lynn and Las Brisas where they intersect.
If you see a rattlesnake, you don't want to tangle with it.
Lee Cantrell with the California Poison Control System says the agency has received about 250 calls involving rattlesnake bites in the first 6 months of this year. 3 people have also died.
This is unprecedented for us. I have been doing this job for 30 years, and I can only remember maybe 2 or 3 rattlesnake-related deaths in my whole career.
In one recent
give the snakes privacy.
Ranch was rushed to the ICU and left with a swollen foot after she says she was bitten while tending to her flowers.
If we give enough antivenom, it will neutralize the circulating venom, and people tend to do pretty well.
If you run into a snake while hiking, don't panic. Most snakes are harmless. It's the rattlesnakes you need to be cautious around.
Yeah, even the mutant rats would have been a better story to end on. This is giving me the willies
on their tails as a warning.
It was unbelievable.
For Tony, who captured a rare moment in the wild on a busy Thousand Oak Street, it's
apparently not fucking, they're fighting.
I expect to see a snake here and there, especially now it's the season. But seeing the 2 of them kind of standing up like cobras, like we don't have cobras, so what's going on?
Just pretend I didn't play the bear story earlier. And this is the first time you're seeing it. Everybody ooh and ah.
Have become a familiar thing across the Front Range this summer. Many of you have sent in photos and video to our newsroom.
But this large black bear in Arvada did more than just pass through last night.
Twitch people, stick with me. We're going to watch some police chases.
To share a quiet moment with the family dog.
Including the one from earlier that I showed you with the bikes doing wheelies.
Yeah, guys, this happened on the west side of Arvada near 64th and Virgil Way. It was last night that this bear was coming through the neighborhood. He hopped somebody's fence onto their trash cans and eventually made its way to the patio next door, where
he's adorable.
That dog for a brief moment, and one resident tells us he doesn't think this was their first encounter. Lucas Eads moved into the neighborhood back in 2018.
I like it a lot. We were really close with all of our neighbors.
Not all of his neighbors have been human, though.
Bears, bobcats, hawks, owls.
And bears, or at least one that Eads says they've been watching grow over the last 3 years, eating his favorite foods from their trash cans.
Carbs, he likes pizza, Chinese food.
He likes pizza.
Stroganoff.
He started strapping him down a while
beef stroganoff.
But last night, his security cameras caught this video of the bear hopping their fence onto the trash cans once again.
The video.
I bet that bear does like beef
He
stroganoff.
walks over here, he'll hook one of his paws right on the gate, and then he uses these posts as like a ladder, and he climbs right over.
Eads says he usually will bang on the door and he'll run off. But last night, the bear went.
Ooh, I'd love for you to make me a beef stroganoff.
Friendly neighbor, he introduced himself to the current residents.
And my wife was like, oh, look, the bear is laying down on their patio with Sully.
Sully, the neighbor's dog, looked unfazed. Eads thinks this wasn't their first meeting.
It almost seemed like they had some familiarity.
The bear eventually left after their dog started barking at it too. He says, like the bear, they try to be friendly neighbors as well and reminds people to treat them kindly.
The bear seemed very calm the other night, and I think part of that was how we were acting around it. And I think that situation, if we would have been panicking, could have added excitement to either the dogs or the bear, and who knows what could have happened.
So Colorado Parks and Wildlife says that they are on pace for...
Last night, his security cameras caught this video of the bear hopping their fence.
So, YouTube people, podcast people. Oh no, I was trying to find somebody to rate. I forgot I'm not rating out.
Gate, and then he uses these.
Light one up, tip one back. Twitch people, we're going to watch a police chase.
Climbs right over.
Eid says he usually will bang on the door and he'll run off. But last night, the bear went into the